What's up everybody? In today's video we're going to be talking about practice mutes, also known as silent mutes. There's big ones, there's little ones that you can fit in your bell, there's an electronic one, Yamaha has one, and we're going to be talking about should you practice with it, what you should be careful when you practice with a practice mute, etc, etc. But first, if this is the first time we meet, hi, my name is Raphael. On this channel we talk about brass playing, we talk about the trombone, about the technique, we do some arrangements, we do some playing, we do some playing along exercises, etc. So if this is the first time that you join us, you might consider subscribing to the channel. So the little mute. First of all, this is a Wallace silent mute. It's made in Scotland, and it is one of those mutes that I find very practical because you can put it in your bell and it doesn't stick out. So if you have one of those normal cases, not like the one I use right now, but if you have one of those normal gig bags or cases, you can just put it in your bell and have it all the time with you. Now it is very practical. Also, this particular model, I'm not sponsored or anything, this is just what I use, so I'm just sharing with you. Because first of all, you can kind of tune it a little bit. You see there's a little tube here in the middle. I hope you can see well on the camera. You can kind of tune it, and you can also change the resistance. There's this little wooden part here. Oh, zoom in on this, focus on this. There's also this little wooden part that you can bring up and down, and that helps you tune it a little bit. I don't really tune it because, you know, this is not what I use it for. So what do I use it for? When should you use it and when should you not use it? First of all, if you can avoid practicing with a practice mute, avoid practicing with a practice mute. Practice mute is never essential. It adds a whole load of resistance. So it's not ideal if you're practicing your flexibility, it's not ideal if you're practicing your sound and your general sensations of the embouchure. But, you know, if you don't have a choice, you don't have a choice. It's also not ideal for the reason that I said before, although this one is not too bad, it still has some really bad intonation problems. Make sure you practice without the mute, because otherwise you will have some intonation problems. But you know, if you don't have a choice, if it's late at night and you really want to do some long tones, or if you're in a hotel and you're not allowed to make any noise, although in most hotels, you know, it's okay, depends what time you do it. Or if you want to practice at 4 o'clock in the morning and not wake up the people in your house, you know, like, you can practice with this. But this should be really a last resort. I used to have the Yamaha one, which is one that you can have headphones with, and it is okay. It does pose a few amounts of problems. It actually got stolen in the conservatoire in Paris, so I don't have it to show you here, but I was using it quite a lot. It has some disadvantages. The first disadvantage is that it is huge, so not unlike this one, you can't put it in your bell and just put the bell in your case and just travel with it. You need to have like a special bag for it. It's quite big, it's quite heavy also, so if you don't have a hand brace, then it might hurt your shoulder, it might hurt your hand. It does add a lot of weight. The cool thing is that you can have little effects and work with you can put some reverb and little effects like this. You can say that you're in a symphony hall or in a church. It's kind of okay, but it's also kind of mimicky, because if you're practicing with a practice mute, you know, you're not practicing to have this great, amazing sound. You're just practicing because this is your last resort. As I said, it is much better to practice without a mute than with a mute. So, you know, keep it as your last resort. How I use it? Well, if I have very, very, very little time to warm up, or if a rehearsal already started, you know, if you only play in the second part, or if you're only playing the second part of a concert and it's not well isolated and you can't really warm up, but you still need to warm up, of course, then this is ideal. It is another solution than just warming up with the mouthpiece, just buzzing. So if this is not something that you like to do, just buzzing, then having this is kind of okay. What I mostly use it for, because I think that it's the best, the only place where it's not so bad to use, is to do very soft long tones. So it does cut the sound a lot, and for a long tone, yes, you do get a little bit more resistance, but it is, you know, it is what it is. It'll always have resistance. Just to show you the difference in sound when I don't have the mute. This is what I sound like right now, and if I put it in, I'm going to try my best to play exactly the same. So you see the intonation is not great, but you see how soft it is. So you can basically practice all night, everywhere, anywhere with this on. But again, I recommend it only if you don't have a choice. That's it for today's video. Actually, I think I said everything that I had to say for practice mutes. Which one do I recommend? I recommend this one. I recommend going for practicality before anything else. So any mute that basically fits in your bell is one that I would suggest, because as I said, I've said it a million times already, privilege not, you know, like try to practice without a mute much more than practicing with a mute. This is practical, as I said, if you need to do a last minute warm-up somewhere, or if you're traveling, you're in a hotel, you can't practice, or you want to practice at 3 o'clock in the morning. You have it all the time in your bell, so you have it all the time with you, and you can always blow a few notes. Even if you're in the train, I've seen a lot of people practice with those in the train, and you know, it's not going to disturb anybody. It's not as loud as when we're talking. So yeah, this is a good little tool to have. I recommend that you purchase one, but I recommend that you're very smart in the way that you practice with it. That's it for today. Have fun practicing. Have a good week. Let me your comments below. If you have a favorite practice mute, which one is it? Write it down there. If you've enjoyed this video, please put a thumb up, and if you've not done so already, please subscribe to the channel, talk about it with your friends, colleagues, etc. Right, see you later. Ciao.